Ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
Oh, that's for some people out there who like to talk crap, who like to talk garbage. But you know what? I'm not going to go beneath there, because when I go beneath there, I go scorched earth. Again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. I want to talk about the Giants' 20-12 win against the Chicago Bears. Also want to talk about the quarterback injuries. Want to talk about the potential reunion with Landon Collins. Want to talk about the injuries. Want to talk about Jalen Smith. Just want to go over just what it was yesterday, because it was a weird game. Being at that game, it was another weird Giant game to watch. I have to give Tebow and Kafka all the credit in the world, because they are game planning in such a way that it's almost, it is like you always game plan for the opponent ahead of you, but it's almost like they're game planning for an entire season and trying to figure things out as they go along the way, because the offense, and I loved it, and I got to give the New York Post credit, the offense was prehistoric. 100%. I thought it was 1945 or 1953 or something like that. I thought we were going back to the day where we're going to run the ball 400 times. And Tebow came out and said he wanted to run the ball 40 times today. I think he ran the ball yesterday. I think he ran the ball 41 times. 44 times he ran the ball. Sorry. He wanted to run it 40. He ran it 44 times for amassing 262 yards. Saquon Barkley led the way. You just have to say it. Saquon Barkley was the man. All the people, and we're going to talk about Daniel Jones, because I'm tired of people saying you're just so negative about him. You know what? Take your Daniel Jones panties off your heads and take a look at exactly what he does. And we're going to go through this in a minute, because the intelligence of certain Giant fans and content creators is probably around like 11. And we're going to prove that quite easily, but we're going to get into that in a minute. But Saquon Barkley was the man, ran the ball 31 times for 146 yards. It reminds me of the old Butch Woolfolk days back in 83, when Woolfolk ran the ball like 43 times, I guess, for like 150 or 140 against at that time, it was a very good Dallas Cowboys defense. And they asked him how he felt after the game, and he just said, "I felt tired." But Saquon Barkley had his energy. He had everything going on. But it was an attack that was built to play against the Bears. It really was. And, you know, you have to give Tebow and Kafka credit. They are reaching into the Pat Shurmur playbook. They set up the run, and then they used play action rollouts for Daniel Jones, and then just gave him one target on that side of the field, and that was the tight end. And if the safety or the linebacker came up to tackle Daniel Jones, then he throws to the tight end. If he hangs with the tight end, then Daniel Jones takes off. And Tanner Hudson, man, he actually had some nice blocks on the one touchdown. And you know what? It was a simplified game plan. It was a simplified game plan, because Daniel Jones was 8 for 13 for 71 yards. That's what it was. You know, and Daniel Bellinger, I believe, led the way with 3 receptions for 23 yards. The problem is you cannot go through this type of prehistoric vanilla offense for very long, because they're going to figure out a way to stop the run. They're going to figure out a way to stop Saquon Barkley. You're going to run into good teams. The Chicago Bears are a bad 2-1 team now, a 2-2 team. They are a bad team. They got some lucky wins with the 49ers in the monsoon and everything else. Their quarterback is not much to speak of right now. And I'm a guy that likes Justin Fields, but he's not much to speak of right now. He's like Baker Mayfield. I liked Baker Mayfield too, but Baker Mayfield right now has been garbage. But some good teams are easily going to figure out the Giants' game plan. You stop the run and you make the Giants throw. And it's one of those situations that if that occurs and you cannot generate any offense in the air, it's going to get ugly. Now, for all the people that want to praise Daniel Jones, how do you praise a quarterback? Yes, he had a good game on the ground. 6 carries for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yes, he had a good game on the ground. Very much so. But like I said, you also have to give credit to Kafka and Tebow, who understood they were taking advantage of the over-aggressiveness of the defense, who was trying to stop the run up the middle by using play-action rollouts and giving Daniel Jones one option down the field. It's exactly what Shurmur did. You cut the field in half and you limit Daniel Jones' options between throwing to one receiver or running. It's a brilliant game plan. And I hate to break the news to you, the Daniel Jones lovers, he's not going to be here next year. And I love it because they even said it. You know, I mean, Troy Aikman, who I'm not a big fan of, even said that they've already made a decision on Daniel Jones because they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. And you're not going to give him a $32 million cap hit and by putting the tag on him, and you're not going to sign him for $22, $23 million and get this type of production because it does not last. It cannot last. I was thinking back to recent NFL history about a quarterback who was so polarizing like Daniel Jones is, and just in general about how his play is so different and so interesting right now. And I was trying to think of a quarterback who had these same type of games. And I thought of one the other day. And I thought of one in regards to the fact that this guy was a polarizing quarterback. He was a guy that no one could really stand as a quarterback because they all thought he was terrible. But then you look at Daniel Jones is 3-1. And I took the same 4-game sample of this quarterback. Daniel Jones is 3-1. He's completed. Let's see. We're not even going to get into. Let's go. Hold on. I'll have to grab my notes. He completed 67 for 105 for 603, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And then you go into. Let's see. Let's find the rushing statistics. I have to find the rushing statistics. Well, here we go. And his rushing stats are, 31 carries for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's pedestrian average at best. This quarterback that I'm thinking of was 43, and over a same 4-game sample where he was 3-1, was 43 for 95 for 526, 5 touchdowns and 1 interceptions. And he ran the ball. I don't know. I forgot the number of the times he ran the ball, but he has 283 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. So he has 8 touchdowns in total. And I'm looking at it and say, okay, so you look at Daniel Jones's stats, you look at him, and again, we're doing this statistically for certain people who aren't intelligent enough to understand this. Again, we'll go it over. Daniel Jones, 67 out of 105 attempts, 67 completions, 631 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, hasn't thrown a touchdown in 2 games. His rushing statistics are 31 carries, 193 and 2. This guy is 43 for 95 for 526. He's got 5 touchdowns and 1 interceptions. Ran for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. And his team made the playoffs. This quarterback. And his team beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. It's Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow got ripped by all 31 other teams for being this type of quarterback. That's the same quarterback that Daniel Jones is right now. Sorry, guys, he's not going to be back next year. The Giants are sending scouts all over the country to look at quarterbacks. And if you want me to say something nice about him, I will. Also, I've said nice things about Daniel Jones. I've said wonderful things about Daniel Jones. I'll say it. He's running the offense that Kafka and Dable are giving him. And he's running it effectively to a point. And that's the problem. You can blame the wide receivers. You can blame the offensive line, but it's never the blame of the quarterback in some people's minds. And that's why I said they got their Daniel Jones panties over their sunglasses and they can't see. And that's a problem. And that's an issue. But the rest of the league sees it. Hell, Daryl Johnson in the middle of the broadcast yesterday basically said the Giants' offense looks better without a quarterback on the field. There's something very wrong with that. And I just love it because some people need to, I keep thinking of this.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
Now, that's the problem with some people. The ability to think does not mean you're intelligent, does not mean what the hell you're talking about. Honesty. Look in the mirror. Look at what's in front of you. Look what the rest of the league sees. It's okay to whiff on a quarterback. It's fine. Daniel Jones may be a nice kid. Great. But he's a read option quarterback. In the NFL, who's got a problem throwing downfield or processing plays? And I'm going to give you a couple other examples because we were sitting in 19th row on the 50-yard line. Everyone knows how much I love the dangerous David Sills. There was at least 2 plays yesterday. 2 plays that I can think of that I saw. Because you see much more on the field than you do watching it on television. That's why I like going to the games. There was 2 plays where Daniel Jones missed, didn't even see a wide open David Sills because he never looked at that side of the field. There was a play where David Sills had a good 10-yard cushion between the cornerback and the safety. There was at least 10 yards between each of those players, and Daniel Jones didn't even look his way. And there was two other there was one other play, again, that the dangerous David Sills was wide open. Wide open. He was at one point streaking down the field with nobody in front of him, at least 4 to 5 yards with the corner behind him, and Daniel Jones didn't even look his way. That's a problem, guys. I'm sorry. That's an issue. That is truly an issue. And I don't care if you hate me for saying it. I don't care if you talk crap about me for saying it. I'm going to be honest. Because not being honest as Giant fans and as a Giant organization is what has got us in this trouble for the last 10 plus years. Daniel, and I've said it before, when Daniel Jones has a good game, I give him all the credit in the world. When he does. When he plays well, I give him all the credit in the world. But I love one person was like, well, Daniel Jones was the player of the game. Really? Saquon Barkley running his feet off and doing everything that the Giants needed to do to keep this team in the game, running the ball 31 times for 146, does not make him the player of the game? Really? That more than makes you the player of the game. That makes you, you should be in line for player of the week. This is a game that and I will give Dable and Kafka credit, all the credit in the world. This is a game that in the last 10 years, the Giants would have lost. They would have found a way to lose this game. They really would have. They would have found a way to lose it. And at the end of the day, that's the problem. They would have found a way to lose this game, and they didn't. I love it because people are like, Daniel Jones put on a show. Danny Wheels. Now it's Danny Wheels. I love that. Does anyone see his stats and what they did? And like I said, you want to give credit to Dan Jones, fine. But you also have to give credit to Kafka. And has anyone noticed that the last two offensive coordinators have simplified the offense so much that now we are basically running the ball 4,960 times a game? Does anyone see that? And I love it because they're going to say, well, he did a little bit wrong yesterday. He didn't do much wrong yesterday because he only ran the ball, He only threw the ball 17 times and ran it for 6? So he was involved in 23 offensive plays? There's just moments that I just sit there and I look to see what are people talking about. I really do.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Winning cures a lot of things, and winning makes you look the other way for a lot of deficiencies. It's true. And if people don't look at the fact that Saquon Barkley was unreal again yesterday, there is a problem with that. There is an issue with that. You have to look at this from a reality perspective. And I wish certain people would, because it would make you a more intelligent fan. It would make you a smarter fan. It really would. And if you want to be in love with Daniel Jones, that's fine. That's great. But don't call out the people that actually see the truth. And don't try to make them feel bad for actually seeing the truth. Because you can't see it. Because you got your Daniel Jones panties over your sunglasses and you can't see it. That's the problem with certain parts of this fan base. That's the issue. And I've said it before, and I love all these people that talk crap and post stuff on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and all that crap. I'm the only one that's ever at the games. Why is that? Why am I always the only one sitting in the stands? Why am I the only one standing on the field? Why is that? Oh, because I am a fan. And I have been a fan since 76. And I've lived through the bad quarterbacks. And I know what a bad quarterback is. I've seen it. I can feel it. It is what it is. But the problem is some can't focus and believe in the reality. Does Daniel Jones give you a better chance to win on Sunday than Davis Webb? Sure. I will tell you this, though. when Tyrod Taylor went out, there was a smattering. There was an underroar of boos when Daniel Jones went back in the game. So I'm not the only one who is sitting there seeing this situation. Does he give us a better chance to beat the Packers on Sunday in London? Yes, 100% Daniel Jones does. He does. But that doesn't mean he's your quarterback of the future. He's your quarterback of the moment. And that's the way you have to look at it. And I've played this before, and I'll play it. I will play it again over and over again.
It was great, huh? Your fastball's up, your curveball's hanging. In the show, they would have ripped you.
Can't you even let me enjoy the moment?
The moment's over.
The moment is over. And we now need to move on to Green Bay. And like I said, yes, Daniel Jones gives us a better opportunity to win on Sunday because of the fact that he is the starting quarterback. Even if Tyrod Taylor is healthy, he is your starting quarterback. He has been your starting quarterback since day one. Now, do we need to worry about the ankle? Yes, because I've said this before. Anyone who's traveled, and I've traveled extensively through my life and through my career, and I've traveled overseas multitudes of times. When you're in a pressurized cabin, your body swells. So the Giants are going to need to be concerned going on a 7-8 hour flight across the pond with a quarterback with a swollen ankle because your body will swell up in a pressurized cabin. 100%. And do I give him credit for manning up and coming back into the game? Sure. Sure it does. I give him credit. I give Daniel Jones credit like that. He says, yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Says, I didn't feel like I could move quite the same. That's what he said. But let's not make him out to be Willis Reed playing on a bad knee coming in against the Lakers. Daniel Jones ran off to the side and stood there and took 2 snaps. The rest were Saquon. Again, the rest were Saquon Barkley. I don't understand what this thing is about Saquon Barkley, and people just would rather heap the praise on Daniel Jones when Saquon Barkley was the star of the game. The defense was the star of the game. I just don't get it. Well, with 2 quarterbacks out right now, of course, you're going to probably bring back the venerable Davis Webb. I would not want to be Davis Webb coming in on a short week and turn around and flying to London because that's going to be difficult. Of course, he is on the practice squad, but you know what? He hasn't been getting practice reps since training camp, so that would be a Herculean task for him. Of course, Tyra Taylor's in the concussion protocol, so I find that interesting with Tyrod Taylor that we have to wait and see everything that went on with Tua. You know, there's probably going to be more eyes on the NFL and the league in reference to some of that because that also was a bad hit. That was an illegal hit. That was a 15-yard penalty. I don't know why that flag was not called. The defensive back did lead with his helmet. So I find that that was another call that the NFL or the referees missed. We also have Landon Collins coming in for a look-see. I have to give all the credit in the world also for Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith played well. He played well for Austin Cletro, who was a healthy scratch. So they're going to be hosting Landon on actually today. I'm not 100% sure what the thought process is about that. They're also bringing in what's his name, Solomon Kindly. They're also bringing him in as well. So you know what? It's interesting because Collins would fit the Wink Martindale system. He would have fit the Patrick Graham system too because he's a hybrid between safety and linebacker role, and that's kind of what they're trying to do. While Tate Crowder did have a bunch of tackles yesterday, they mainly were in the second level, and he wasn't really attacking the line. So you know it would be interesting to bring in Landon Collins because he would probably fit extremely well into this defensive system because the fact that, like I said, he can play that hybrid role like they used to do over in Patrick Graham's in reference to Peppers and Logan Ryan, how they played that quasi in the box linebacker safety. So I think that would be kind of interesting. It'd be kind of an interesting reunion. Also want to give a big shout out to Plexico Burris and Leonard Marshall. Got to meet them at the game yesterday in the Coaches Club. That was actually really nice. That was really fun. It was a really nice, pleasant surprise. Got some pictures taken, got some autographs. So big reach, and honestly a big kind of hand to the Giants as well. You know, they gave away the retro pennants, which were nice to everyone that came to the stadium. So, you know, I think they're trying to make up for that medium coffee fiasco. And medium coffee. I wish it wasn't medium coffee. The medium Pepsi fiasco But they, like I said, it's not the greatest pennant in the world. It's not the most expensive one, but it was, it's a nice keepsake for the legacy game. Also want to give the Giants a shout out for, letting everyone, letting us go out and onto the field and hang out. We actually, Big L and I hung out in the field for about a half hour after the game. So that was nice. If you haven't seen it, go watch there's a 3-minute, I did a 3-minute live stream because, I kind of wanted to enjoy the moment again. It's not the first time I've been on the field after a game, but like I said, it was interesting with the legacy game. It kind of gave you that old MetLife field, not MetLife, the old Meadowlands field that you could walk around, and you could see the old retro end zones. It was nice. It was a fun experience. It was a great experience. It was a great game. It was a win, to say the least. And that's what people have to take a look at this, because we do not have an easy schedule coming up starting this week for a couple weeks. So you have to take a look at what the Giants have in front of them, because you got the Packers. You have the Packers in London. You got the Ravens at home, which is the game I will be at on the 16th. You have the Jaguars in Florida. Jaguars are a tough out. That's not an easy game. You got Seahawks in Seattle, that 12th man, and Geno Smith has actually played somewhat well. Texans, hopefully that is a win right there. The Lions are no longer a pushover. So the Lions, if they could figure out how to win, they're going to be dangerous. Then you got the Cowboys in Dallas. You have the Commanders at home. Then you have the Eagles at home. And then you are on the road 3 of your last 4 games against the Commanders and the Vikings on the road. You have the Colts at home, and then you have the Eagles in Philadelphia. So it's not going to be an easy schedule. So we need to focus on getting some wins and getting as many wins as we can to continue to carry on. And people are like, well, Tim, you said they were only going to win 3 to 5 games. They've already won 3 games. Oh, great. That's fantastic. I'm glad. I'm happy to be wrong, because you know what? If they make the playoffs for some godly unknown reason, I get to go to a playoff game if it's a home game. So as a season ticket holder, I get playoff tickets. So it doesn't matter to me. So it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm going to enjoy it. Are we going to do a stream today? I got that question. Not today, but are we going to do a stream this week? I have to look into it. I have to see what my schedule looks like. To be honest, I'm probably going to be leaning back on some videos a little bit, maybe doing 3 a week instead of 1 a day, only because of the fact that I do have another podcast coming out, which is going to be taking up some of my time. So we may be able, like I said, we may have to push it to maybe a video on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then maybe a Sunday stream. We'll come out with a regular schedule, but until the new podcast kicks off, I am going to try to do stuff daily still, because you know what? There is a large segment of Giant fans out there who are intelligent, who are NFL savvy, and understand what we're doing here. If you want, you join the cult of OBB. Again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We're bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you can you can subscribe. If you ring that bell, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.